That was one of my biggest challenges, man. And I think now, man, I fully understand the importance of humility and people. And I think that's why we were so successful in 1-7. Because unfortunately, man, I didn't learn that until, I left the depot. Because that was one of my last cycles. What was that, man? I was like, man, by myself, man. I was damn near dead. I felt dead. Yeah. But I had 98 recruits and to get trained, man, and I couldn't, take no breaks. So, yeah. Another challenge, man, is that I think one of the biggest challenges we face, man, is the difference in being able to notice the difference in the society, right? And change.
What do you mean by that?
Right? Nobody wants to change, man. Nobody likes change, bro. Nobody. Right? Like, nobody wants to accept the fact that we are changing, man. As an institution, as society, as a world, man, we're changing. We're evolving. But nobody wants to accept that, man. Because if you've done X, Y, and Z for so many years, man, it's, I guess, worked. Right? You become comfortable.
Yeah. Nobody
likes change because you become uncomfortable. So I think as a whole, man, everybody faces a challenge of change. And that's by how you talk to people. Because when I came up from Marine Corps, it was, hey, go do this. Sergeant, boom, you do that for whatever reason, however long. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, hey, go do this. Why? Because I said. Well, now it's very important for them to understand why. It's very important for them to understand why because so one, they can know the intent, right? And mission accomplishment, right? Like, if I tell you to go, hey, go, park a car across the street. Why? What's going to happen? You know what I'm saying? Or go pick that up, or go move that, or go do this, right? It's very important that you understand the why.
Yeah. And, treat the people that you're leading with enough respect.
Dignity and respect, man.
This is the reason.
Yeah. Exactly. Because how many times, and you can attest to this, how many times were you out police calling the parking garage behind 1-7 or, pulling the weeds out front of 1-7, right? Wondering, why are we doing this, man? Like, this is stupid, man. Right? Like,
someone's coming around.
Right? But even, to the point where, let's take range 410 Alpha or 400, for example, right? Mm-hmm. The way we stage gear. I'll never forget this right here, man. We were at, you probably remember, we were at range 215, which is just over Cardiac.
Yeah.
If you remember. Yep, the mountain time, right? And I think I was still a platoon sergeant, man. And Andrews, Reinhardt, and I can't remember who else other squad it was, man. But they staged the gear, and this was time for rehearsals, right? And I let all the Marines go meet the squad leaders in whatever town, right, whatever section. And I was standing there, man. It's like this. Let's watch. Okay. Boom. Squad leaders are leaving, right? Eight squad leaders come out. Come on. Yes, that's on. I was like, you see this gear? Fix it. And they're like, we'll get the Marines. No, you won't. You gonna fix it. So they were pissed, man. They were hot. But I felt that
I've heard about this. I wasn't there for this, but I heard about this.
I felt that they were mad, man. I felt it. And I was like, good, I got them exactly where I wanted, man. They were so mad at me, bro. Like, they were pissed. And I had them fixing 45 other Marines' gear. And making it all look the same. And making it all nice and neat. And after they got done, I said, come here. You want to know why I made you fix it? And I could tell they were boiling. And I'm like, yes, that's all. Now you know the expectation of the standard. Do you think I care how good gear looks? No, I don't care. But it's very important that we stage our gear a certain way. Why? Because if we're in a patrol base, right, and we could compromise, and we got to move. And I got one squad on rest, one squad on security, one squad on patrol. Right? Well, now guess who got to pick up all that gear? I don't have time for the squad that's on patrol to come back and pick up all this stuff. We got to pick it up. Right? So that it all comes to knowing where everything is and how you place it. Right? It's not because of where it looks, man. Yeah, you want to look nice, but at the same time, it's more of a uniformity. So I know exactly the reason why we put our IFAC on the back right or back left, whatever it is, right? Whatever unit appears. So if you get shot, right, or if you get blown up, I can roll you over and I can use your IFAC and know exactly where it is.
You're not looking for it.
Right? I'm not looking for it. I don't have time. Right? The same concept, man. So like that right there, and I think they understood after that, man, because after that, then you heard it wasn't me saying, hey, make sure we fix the gear. It was the squad leaders demanding from the squads, right? The Marines of setting a new standard, expectation of why we do what we do. Same reason why, out there on, the playing field, the field, man. Last season I took what I really say probably the 2 to 3 leaders on the team, right? Which everyone looks up to. We all got them. And I said, come here. You just went through that drill. Now watch everybody else. Now go through it again, but I want you to put 100% effort into it. And they did it. I said, come here. Watch. What happened? The same way they executed, the team executed. Man, that is very important, man. In any team, organization, institution, man. Just setting an example. And I probably went way off track. And I probably didn't even know what the question was.
The question was, what challenges you face as a leader, and you hit that.
Okay, all right.
Now you're good.
Yeah, I went more in depth.
All right, kind of scoping to like bigger picture things. How do you perceive vulnerability, and how does it relate to strength?
I think one of another hardest challenges we face is one, leading your peers, and another one is knowing yourself and seeking self-improvement. Why? Because us as individuals, man, we're all perfect, man. Like I said, nobody likes change, man. Nobody wants to admit when they're wrong, right? But it's very important to be vulnerable and be able to accept and acknowledge when you're wrong, right? And be comfortable with admitting you are wrong, okay? I think that's another leadership quality that you must have, is being able to accept when you're wrong, because nobody likes to be wrong, man. Nobody likes change. Nobody likes to, say, oh, yeah, you were right. Because we're all perfect, man, in our eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Triebell can do no wrong, but as a leader, man, I know that one of the harder things is knowing yourself and seeking self-improvement. What can I do better? How can I make this team better? For example, when we took a loss on the field, right? It's not me going back to the locker room and saying, y'all didn't do this, y'all didn't do this, y'all didn't do this, y'all didn't play this, y'all didn't, right? That's easy, man. That's easy to put the blame on somebody else. But for me to tell my players and the athletes, and even the Marines, man, like, hey, that loss is on me. I accept fault for that loss, man. I didn't prepare you well enough. And that can go, onto the range, right? I didn't prepare you well enough, right? I should have maybe spent more time watching film. I should have maybe spent more time doing rehearsals. I should have maybe spent more time on specific positions. I should have maybe, spent more time doing, focus on the speed sense of the game, or the power, or the strength, or just in preparation. Or I didn't give you more time. I didn't give you enough time to prepare, or that loss is on me. as a leader, you must be willing to accept faults. You must be willing to accept when you're wrong or when you take a loss, man. That's on you as a leader, man. You cannot say that it's the Marines' fault or it's the players' fault. No, it's not, man. It's that leader's fault, man. Like, you have to accept that.
Beautifully said.
And that's strength, man. Like,
it is strength.
You become stronger as a person, but more importantly, you become stronger as a team.
You also gain more respect.
Yeah, 100%.
And like that just fuels everything.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's very important and as a leader, man. Is one, humility, and two, like, it's okay to be wrong, man. It's okay to make mistakes, man. Everyone does it.
You're human. Everyone does this, and like only by realizing that you made a mistake are you able to capitalize on that and make it better.
100%.
And then it's the growth and the journey of improvement, and like, yeah, that's kind of getting off track from the interview, but like that's what I'm trying to remember with this is like I know I have a feeling towards something, and I don't know what it's gonna look like, but it's like when people want to start something or like a dream, they like do a lot of things of like trying to get everything to look perfect. But then when you start it, you're going to have to adapt it at any point.
Have
like,
to, man.
I wrote something a little bit ago, like relating it to how when I showed up to the fleet, we all had a flak setup SOP with the big annoying IFAC on your hip. And like, you're like, this is fucking pissing me off. I don't know why we're doing this. I'm a machine gunner. Why do I have grenade titties? This is annoying. And then only by having that for a year and a half was I able to realize when I got to change my flak by myself, be like, wait, if I move this, like I can replace these, put a pouch here for protractor notebooks and everything. I can put them here to hold a compass on here. I can get a fanny pack for the IFAC, and like only by having something and starting with something, you're able to realize how you want to change it. Like if they just put me in a room with my flak and like set it up, I'd have set it up in a fucked up way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been functional in any type of the way for it. And I was like, when you start something, just start it and then be able to quickly adapt off of what you're doing.
Exactly. And I think too, man, going on there, showing vulnerability is like you said, man, starting something, man. You have to take risks in something, man.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everybody's scared to start something, right? Because they want everything to be perfect. Well, I'm here to tell you, man, like, there is no perfect time to start anything, man. You just got to start.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, we are going to figure this out together, and we're going to win. Some way, shape, form, somehow. We're going to do something.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you just have to start, man. Everybody waits for the perfect time to start something, man. There is no such thing as a perfect time, man.
No.
Like, you just have
it's
to.
Now.
It's now, man. It's right now. I mean, you got to do it.
And if you sit here and you're like, oh, I should have done that 5 years ago, so you know what the second best time is? Right now.
Right now.
Capitalize when
That's
you realize it.
That's it.
Yeah. What was the biggest impact that you wanted to leave on the people that you led? Like, if you had to, like, impart a piece of wisdom or, like, mentality onto those others, like, what was that? In terms of, like, so being a leader, it's a lot of, like, leading others. And then at some point, you do leave. Like, at some point, you're no longer their leader. So, like, what is one of those top things that you want to be a remaining piece of you that remains inside, like in their head or their psyche?
My number one goal, man, as a leader, is for people to understand that it's never about them. Right? So it's never about you, man. It's always about those around you. Right? Like, if you can understand that, the importance of it never being about you, but it always being about them, right? When I say them, I'm talking about the people around you. That is my overall goal.
I got hit most of my questions. You got some notes written up? Anything else you want to share?
I do, man. So I don't know if it's going to be asked or But everybody has a different definition of leadership, man.
That was a question, yeah.
I read that. Everybody has a different definition or perspective of leadership. To me, leadership is not a title or a designation or a position, right? Like, I just didn't become a coach and now I'm a leader.
Yeah.
You know, I just didn't become a staff CO or a gunnery sergeant and now I'm a leader, right? I didn't become a leader when I was a company gunnery sergeant. I didn't. Leadership is about the impact, influence, and inspiration. Okay? Impact involves results. Influence involves spreading your passion for the art and science of your profession, of your craft. Okay? And you must aspire your team, your people, to succeed. If you can remember those three things, man, impact, influence, inspire, man, you and your team can accomplish anything together. And as a leader, man, you got to understand, man, like, I know you've probably seen it in the Marines, and I see it in the Marines, and I see it, you know, on the field, is that you have people that need a little more attention than others, right? And you have people who you probably easily want to give up on and be like, man, he'll never get it, man. He just won't. And I can name people, I'm not going to, man, but I can name quite a few Marines and players, man, that I'm like, oh my God, man, like, no matter how many times we go through this, man, he's never going to get it. But as a leader, man, you have to remember, nobody wakes up in the morning and says, man, I can't wait to fail today, right? Like, nobody wakes up in the morning and says, man, I'm going to suck today, I can't wait. Nobody does that, man. Everybody wants to succeed. Everybody wants to be challenged, man. Everybody wants to go somewhere in life, man. They want to perform. They want to perform well. You as a leader just have to find what makes that person tick, right? What makes that person become successful. You have to place that person, individual, in a position to succeed, right? That's on you to identify that. For example, he may not be the best machine gunner, but he may be a damn good admin clerk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He may not be the best running back, but damn, he a damn good tight end. Or, like, for example, right? I got a player right now who wants to be on the back line, right? And we're trying to move him to a prop, okay? Different position on the field, okay? And at first he was opposed to it, right? And me being a leader and all the other coaches, man, I talked to him, man. I want to place you in a position to succeed. My main thing is do you want to play? If the answer is yes, then you need to trust these coaches and leaders to place you in a position to play and to succeed. And I get it. You never played this position before. But me as a coach and a leader, it's on me to get you there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm just not going to throw you in a position and be like, hey, dog, figure it out. Like, we're going to train you. Right? Like, I'm going to spend countless minutes, hours, days, weeks, months making sure you're comfortable and prepared for that position. Right? Regardless of what it is in life, man.
Yeah.
It could be on the field, off the field, Marine Corps, not Marine Corps, doesn't matter. But, like, you as a leader have to find what makes a person tick and place those people and everybody in a position to do so, to perform well, right? So me explain that to him, right? Like I said, nobody likes change,
Yeah.
right? Now, after the discussion, he's willing to move, right? And it was just like, it's not that he's bad at being in the position he wants. It's just that there's a really strong competition. And by all means, man, if you want to compete for that position, go compete. I want you to compete.
Yeah.
But there's no, as a coach, mentor, leader, I see where you can fill a gap, right? And that goes back to not being about you, because it was about him, man. I want to be this person. I want to play this position. I want to do this.
Yeah, not seeing the whole of the team.
The whole perspective. And saying, well, brother, I get that, man. But, like, I have full confidence in you. One, just looking at you as an individual, knowing how you play and understanding the game and knowing your body type and knowing, where you stand and watching you play. I know you're going to do just fine right here, man. And this is what we need right now as a team, bro.
Yeah.
Same thing in a warfighting institution like the Marine Corps. Right? Like, he may not be the best 0311 or machine gunner, but guess what? I'm sure I can find a position for him somewhere. Right? G Money. Remember G Money? Right? Like, I wasn't saying he wasn't the best 03. I don't know. He wasn't.
I forgot that you called him G Money.
Yeah, he wasn't in the line company when I got there.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, man, G Money got me where I needed to be when I needed to be there, how I needed to be there.
Yeah.
Right time, right place, right gear. He always got me where I needed to be.
He was on top of it.
I mean, when I said, hey, G Money, we need to go here. Yeah, got it. We need to do this. Got it. Man, if it wasn't for G Money, man, like, damn, I don't know where I would have been, man. He kept me on track. Man, I wouldn't be over here with first platoon, over there with third platoon, over here with second platoon. I wanted to be with the boys.
Yeah.
But G Money was like, hey, Stats on, or hey, Gunny, we gotta go to this. Oh shit, man, you're right, man. I gotta go over here. My bad. He kept me aligned, man. But yeah, man, that's a big thing. But I tell you that, you asked about challenges, and I've been in the Marine Corps, like I said, this year will be 15 years. I've been part of many teams, organizations, units throughout life, man. I'm talking through sports all the way to, units in the Marine Corps. And one thing I've learned through this experiment we call life is you have to create value for yourself. Okay? And the title together, we were talking about vulnerability. And taking risk and being able to adapt and, starting right now, right? Like, you have to create value for yourself. When you submit a resume, and Nick Saban came up with this analogy, and but, when you submit a resume, or when you apply for a position, or when you want a promotion, or in the Marine Corps, if you want that squad leader position, right, or that team leader position, or that section leader position, or that platoon sergeant, or company guns, right, like, you need to create value for yourself, man, because more often than not, people who make that decision, the decision makers, are not looking at reasons why you should fulfill that position. They're not looking at reasons why you should be hired or be promoted. They're looking for reasons why not to be. Yeah. Why shouldn't this Marine, sailor, airman, soldier, why shouldn't we hire this person? They're looking for the reasons why not to, because it's easy to find out the good things. Yeah. But the difference, right, between and but, inside and outside of Marine Corps, you can do everything right, man. You can be physically fit, proficient in your MOS. You can go run range 400 by yourself. That's a company live fire exercise, or range. You can do everything great. But you got a poor attitude. Right? On the other hand, you can do all those things that I just mentioned, and you can have exceptional character, and you have a positive attitude. Right? That's the difference, man, between and but, man. And Nick Saban said that best, man. And I tell you, that can translate in life. That can translate in the Marine Corps, outside the Marine Corps, on the rugby pitch, on the football field. Doesn't matter where, man. But yeah, I mean that's one of the big things. And then you asked me about leadership, man, and I told you that the two components to me, man, this is my vision, man. Two components of leadership are character and humility. And I don't know if you know, familiar with Inky Johnson, man, but he said something that really stuck with me, man. He'd been saying it for years. Is that character, and like I said, man, different definitions of leadership, different definitions of character. To me, character is when what you say, what you do, and how you live your own life align. And you can talk to each one as one.
Yeah.
Okay? Humility is a foundation of excellence. Okay? And let me be clear when I say this, is that leaders walk a fine line between self-confidence and humility. Remember, back then, Gysgt Triebell was arrogant, man. Like, he was cocky and arrogant. Now, a lot of leaders now walk a fine line between self-confidence and humility. And that's how it's supposed to be, man. The difference is leaders aren't arrogant. Humility involves the ability to rally your team or people to a common place or purpose together. Okay? Humility involves knowing that it's not about you, man. It's about the people around you and their success. Okay? Them being great, their development. Okay? It's not about you, man. It's about them. What will distinguish you as a leader is not where you went to school, what your GPA is, what you majored in, what schools you've been to, how many employments you've had. That's experience, man. Like, that's great, man. I love that about you. But what distinguishes you as a leader is not your ability to fly the F-35. Not your ability to shoot a 50 cal, right? Machine gunner. It's not your ability to close on an objective. It's not your ability to call plays, right? It's not how well you present a 5-paragraph order, right? What will distinguish you is your ability to create an environment where your people can grow and be successful. That's what distinguishes you as a leader. And if you want to put your leadership, because we always wonder, man, did I do it right? And to parents, I say to parents, I say it all the time, man. You always wonder, the parent, did I do it right? And how you find out if you do it right, look at your kids. Where are they? What are they doing? Right? And I said that the last commissioning class to all the parents. And I was like, if you're wondering today if you did it right, or if you always ask that question, if you done it right, look in front of you today. The men and women standing before you are commissioning as ensigns and second lieutenants in the United States Navy, United States Marine Corps, to become leaders. Right? Like, you did it right. Because the foundation, right? It's something go and notice, man, it started with you all. Okay? As a leader in the Marine Corps, right? You want to know if you did it right? I ask myself that all the time, man. Did I do it right, man? Did I prepare them for this next challenge, right? Battle. Remove yourselves. Take a step back, man. And watch. Right? Remove yourself from the equation. And watch how the Marines maneuver. Watch how leaders lead. Watch how the squad leader steps up, the platoon sergeant steps up, the platoon commander commands. Right? Like, you watch that. And if they execute well, right, or even execute at all, man, we did it right. As a coach, right, when I walk into the weight room and I see players encouraging other players, right, for that one more rep, for that one more set, or to put 5 more pounds on because, yeah, you can do 225 or 350 or 450, whatever it is, right? And you do that with ease, man. Slap some more weight on that. Let me see if you can move that. You know? Or let's get one more rep. I'm standing behind you, man. I got you. Right? Lift that bar up, man. We're going to do it together. Right? Or for the players on the field who, like I talked about, effort. Right? Nobody can take effort from you, man. That is isolated. Effort is isolated. Why? Because I can't teach you effort. That's 100% on you, man. No coach, no leader can give you effort, man. Like, I can't feed you effort, man.
Yeah.
I can teach you the game, right? But effort is on you, right? Right? When I see the players put 100% effort in and then holding those players accountable, right? And then when it's time during practice, right? And then when it comes time for the game time, when I see that same effort, man, and that same leadership on display on the game, right? You can be down by 14, man. And we come in, man, for a quick huddle or halftime or timeout, whatever it is, right? And you see players stepping up and saying, hey, this is what we need to do. Man, you take a step back and like, man, we did it right, man.
Yeah.
Right, like
it's all in the product. Once you like not that people are a product, but the product of
yeah.
what you've put your work and dedication into. Does it float? Does it swing?
Yeah, and that goes all the way back to what I said before about leadership, man. It's not about a title or a designation or position. It's about impact, influence, and inspiration, right? Like, those things right there are the results of your leadership ability. And I'm just a product of my environment, man, who I grew up with, man. I'm a product of my leaders. I'm a product of good, solid people in leadership, man. You know, I wouldn't be where I am today without, you know, Mike Brown, Kim Davis. So, I mean, now it's on me, man. And I say, man, I'll pay it forward.
Yeah, pay it forward.
That's it, man. Like, I'm in a position now where I can really lead those around me and place them in positions to be successful. You know, at the lower rank, lower level, you know, you don't have a lot of power, a lot to say. You got to sit at the table, right? But the microphone or the you know, passing around the table, I mean, it always come to you. You know, it may skip you, go to the next guy. But like, now I'm in a position where when and I guess the credibility and the respect and resume, I guess, that, you know, when I make a decision or if I advise or recommend something, it's heard, man. So that's the reason why, man. I don't bring this for me, man. Like, I did everything I wanted to do, man. Right? Like, I'm not going to say...
What more can I give?
Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm done, man. I love the Marine Corps, man. But more importantly, I love the Marines. It's you all, man. It's you all that keep me re-enlisting, man. It's on the first of every month when I see all these Marines get promoted, right? It's when I get the phone call and said, hey, I'm about to retire, man. I want you to be at my retirement ceremony. Or it's, you know, when I get the phone call, I've been promoted, I want you to pin me or read my warrant. Or, you know, say I got promoted today to whatever rank, man. You know, thank you. It's the little notes, man, that, you know, people reach out to you, man, reaching out to me, want to interview me, man. I've been absolutely honored to me.
I'm honored that you do it.
To do it, man. Like, that is what keeps me in the Marine Corps, man. That's what keeps me raising my right hand to re-enlist, man. It's that right here. And And that what keeps me out of coach too, man, because just the ability to develop people is truly special, man.
Yeah,
it is truly that there's no greater honor than serving this great nation and serving your people. So yeah, man, that's me, man.
And one last question. What's your definition of honor?
Definition of honor, man. I say this. I said this to my team last year. Everybody on the team gets a jersey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the Marine Corps gets the same uniform, right? Like, you wear your last name and U.S. Marines. Everybody on my team, man, wears Notre Dame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How you present yourself and carry yourself, right? Setting the example. Doing all the small things right, man. Giving the effort. People often say, like, honor is not doing anything to deteriorate your name or organization name, right? Like, it's more than that. It's what you do when nobody's looking.
Integrity.
Right? It's how you lead, right? Those around you, right? It's knowing that you represent something more than yourself. Okay? It's going home at night and taking 15, 30 minutes to self-reflect and say, what did I do well today? What can I do better? Right? And with that, it's how does that make everyone else better around me? Right? It's putting in effort to become 1% better than yesterday. And a lot of people don't even realize how big 1% is. When I say 1%, what do you think?
Depends what you're
small portion.
Of.
Small portion, right? Everybody think, 1%, man, that's nothing. Let me tell you how big 1% is, man. If you strive and put enough effort in to become 1% better than yesterday for yourself and for your team, right? The difference in 1% could be the difference of you and me. You got brown hair, right? I got black hair. What color eyes you got? Brown. I got hazel eyes, right? Like, that's 1% different, dog. That's completely different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference in 1%. That's huge. And if you do that every single day, think of how big of a difference you'll make in a month, in a season, in a workup, right? In a year.
In your life.
In your life. And most importantly, others' lives. Yeah. In 3 months, 6 months, a year, right? A season. So, like, to me, honor is all those things representing you and your team, and what you're willing to sacrifice, right? Because all the things we talk about, man, there's a dark side to it, right? Like, we talked about all the good things. Let's talk about the dark side real quick, man. Yeah. Like, the dark side is if you want to perform well, right? Well, guess what you're not doing? You're not staying out late with your friends, man, drinking till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when I got practice at 06. Or I got formation at 06, I got a PT, right? Like, you got to sacrifice that dark side, right? If you want to perform well, I can't go out and eat Domino's every day or McDonald's every day or Burger King, whatever else that is, right? Mm-hmm. Right? I have to value the importance of nutrition, right? So I can perform well, right? If I want to perform well in school, I got to study. Who likes studying? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If I want to perform well, you think I like working out in the gym?
Yes.
Yes, I do. But reality is nobody likes to train, man.
Yeah, no one likes. It's the discipline to get up. Every day
nobody likes to train, bro. Yeah. Like, man, like nobody wants to go out on the rugby field or the football field, right, and practice for 2 hours.
Backyard.
Yeah, like. Nobody wants to go in the backyard and 29 palms and do gun drills for an hour or two. Nobody wants to do that, man. That's reality.
Yeah.
I wake up every single morning at 4 to 4:30 in the morning. I go to the gym. Right? You think when my alarm goes up, I want to wake up? No. You think I want to go train in the gym for 2 hours? No. But it's that self-discipline, man. It's that honor that I have because I wear this name across my chest. Right? Whether it be Notre Dame or the Marines. Because I got people counting on me. To lead, guide, mentor, train, coach them. And if I'm not doing it, how can I expect them to do it?
Lead by example. It's the only way.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Like, if I expect this much of you, I can expect that much of myself too, man. I would never tell any Marine or any player of mine to do something that I don't expect myself to do. Right? Like, there's a expectation and a standard that we have as Marines and that we have as players and coaches and leaders. Right? Like, there's an expectation and a standard. And it's up to us to uphold them and hold everybody accountable, man. And that starts with discipline. Right? Like, brilliance in the basics. The very basic, man. When you come back from deployment, what do we do? We go on leave, come back, that's what we do. We train, but what do we start with? 1,000 level skills, man. Skills. Individual and fire team level skills.
Land nav.
Right? Land nav. The very basics, man. We just started training camp, man.
Yeah.
Right? Guess what we started with? We just won a bowl game, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
Congrats.
We was in, thanks. Shout out to the players, man, not me. But we just won a bowl game. Right? We just made it into the Sweet 16 for the sevens at the National Collegiate Rugby Championship. Right? Like, we're good. But guess what we're starting at right now?
Basics.
Tackling drills, bro. The very basics.
Yeah.
We start with tackling. And that's because you have enough honor in your team, organization, and yourself, and discipline to know that if you want to be good, if you want to be great or elite, that's a different level, man. Like, you can be good by yourself. You can be great with a few people, right? Or a small team. If you want to be elite, you got to do it as a team, man, together. So that's a long definition and explanation of honor, man.
Perfect.
But to me, man, that's it, man. It is he just knowing that it's more than just you, man. It's this name right here that I wear on my chest, Notre Dame. The name that I wear across my chest, Marines. It's much, much bigger than me, man. It has a greater purpose than just me.
Yeah, removing ego.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. I hope that, I gave you.
No, this was
kind of what you were looking for.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Absolutely, man. I'm glad that we could do it, man.
Yeah.
Humbled, honestly humbled.